imagine that, like, mental well-being can be represented by, like, a little wiggly line, okay? And if we have a baseline, like, right here, and then we have, like, this, okay? And you have your woo, woo, you know, and then you have, like, a really bad day, like a family member dies and you get broken up with and, like, some just really shitty stuff, okay? Decisions made here should not be permanent decisions, okay? The decisions that you make on this day should not be decisions that are going to have a permanent effect on you, because these are not going to be exceptionally well-planned decisions, okay? Seriously, these are not, and suicide is actually the most permanent decision you can make. That's about as permanent as it gets. So these are not the ones you want to make. You want the permanent decisions in your life to be had up here, okay? You want those big days. No, Vosh, you wouldn't say that about any decision other than suicide? What? Suicide is the most permanent decision you can make, Five Lights. What the fuck do you mean? There's nothing more permanent than suicide. Also, yeah, you also shouldn't, like, do crazy shit like sell your house and go out on a fucking alcoholic binge day here. Yeah, you shouldn't make big decisions in general on days like this, okay? Just as a general rule. Yeah, don't, like, get a tattoo on these days either, okay? Just as a general rule. Some people, the line is different for different people, you know what I mean? For some people, the line is higher, and for them, like, their life is like this, you know what I mean? But just because you're below that line doesn't mean that you have to kill yourself or whatever. And even sometimes it dips even further below and you go back with your head above the water. And you just have to remember, okay? Sometimes it feels like the only points you're really living life are right here, okay? But I've always given the same advice for depression, okay? When you're living like this, okay, what you need to do is you need to, it's like playing Kerbal Space Program, okay? You want to fire prograde whenever you're at your apoapses, okay? Whenever you're right here, you want to maximize your well-being to the greatest possible extent. If you're a depressive person, what you need to do when you wake up and realize that you're having, like, you feel kind of okay, you know that feeling, like, when you're feeling depressive, some days you're like, you wake up, but some days you wake up and you're like, oh, hey. Like, you don't feel ecstatic, but you're like, oh, hey, I can just go in the shower. I can just make my food. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? Some days are like that. Like, you just have this day and can do a thing, you know? You can do a thing now. What you want to do is you want to do everything in your power to maximize this, okay? Get your laundry done. You don't have to do everything, just some. Do a little bit of house cleaning, you know? Just take advantage of this time to the extent that you can, you know? And know that it's not permanent. I feel good today. I may not tomorrow, but I enjoyed today. So do things today that you'll remember when you're next feeling here. And the nice thing about humans is that our brains are like an engine, okay? Momentum, inertia. When you move in a direction, you keep moving there, okay? So the nice thing is that if you do, you know, if you have like a little day like this, you might make it easier for you to have another day like this. And maybe that'll be a little bit better. And it won't permanently fix all your problems. It won't mean you'll never dip down. Sometimes you might even backslide and have a really, really bad time. But you wait for the next bubble above air, the next surface breaking, and maybe you can make a little more of it, and a little more of it, and a little more of it. Track the good days. Maybe have a little calendar where you have like all your days lined up, you know? And you're like, how did I feel today? I felt okay. Today sucked. Today sucked. I felt okay. And chart that and do it day by day. And you'll notice after weeks and weeks and months that there's going to be a general positive increase most of the time, I think. Most of the time. Because it makes you more conscientious of the good days. One of the worst things your brain does is that whenever you're having a bad day, you form a shield around yourself and you forget everything good that came before and everything good that can happen after. You feel as though the state that you're in right now is the permanent and existentially correct state that your mind is meant to be in, and that any time you felt good in the past was some kind of brief period of delusion that you enjoyed, before now you're experiencing the truth, which is that you're sad, and this is your whole life now. This is complete bullshit. Depression lies to you, okay? This right here is complete bullshit. That's a fucking lie. There is no barrier, okay? You can have a bad day, and next you can have a really, really good day. Or you can have an okay day. Or maybe you'll have 2 more bad days, but then an okay day. There's no actual hard line here. And the idea that the truth of the world is your depression and that the good days are just a delusional diversion from those positions is something depression tells you to self-justify. So don't do it, okay? The more you have the good days and take advantage of the good days, the easier they will come. And eventually, okay, eventually with the bad days will begin to feel more anomalous themselves. And you'll have a bad day and you'll think, wait, hold on. Bad days don't happen that often for me anymore. This is just one of those things. Sometimes I feel that way when I smoke too much weed. It just gets me feeling bad. I don't know, but I like sleeping, so I smoke the weed. But when I feel that way, when I used to feel that way, when I'd smoke too much weed, what I would think is, oh my God, everything sucks, my brain is broken, and I'm never getting out of this. But now when I smoke too much weed and I feel depressive because of it, all I have to do is think, well, I probably wouldn't be having these negative thoughts if it weren't for weed. And in like 2 hours, I'm going to be sober. So, okay, not a big deal. I'll just chill for a second. I'll play a video game or watch a movie. I mean, things may suck now, but like, oh, whatever. It's 2 hours. Like, it's like having a cramp in your thigh. Like, it sucks, but you know it'll go away. It's crazy, isn't it? With physical injuries, you know it's going to go away. Even the worst headache, you know, like, eventually this will go away. Right now, things suck, but eventually things will go away. But not so with mental health. You think, like, this is forever now, but that's not true. Your brain and the relative distribution of hormones and so on, and serotonin within it, it's subject to cycles and influxes and outfluxes, the same way that many physical injuries do. Now, there are, of course, some physical injuries that are permanent. That's true. Like if you fucking slip a disc sometimes like that, that's possible. But I think that most mental health issues, even if there's something you're going to deal with your entire life, there's still something that you can correct for and live a good life of in spite of. It's not like I don't have bipolar disorder. It just doesn't affect me as much because I talk to a good psychiatrist. I take lithium bicarbonate. Helps me out a little bit, you know, and you develop coping mechanisms for the worst days. Simple as that. I mean, it's not easy, but it is simple. Easy and simple, two very, very, very different things, you know? Yeah. Know what I'm talking about? What if you can't get help right now and need to stick it out till you can? You are the best help you can ever provide yourself. You are the you help, okay? Just take a chill. That's what you got to do. You just have to fight against the urge to believe that negative feelings are permanent and positive feelings are fleeting. In reality, both are fleeting, but you have the ability to decide which is going to be more consistently a part of your life. Now, again, this isn't some like willpower, just get over it, forehead bullshit. But again, it's patterns. It's you know, you're running, you get the momentum on the upper bit, you know, that kind of stuff. And this goes not just for depression, this goes for any kind of psychiatric deviations. I think a lot of people don't realize this because they themselves don't really struggle that much with mental illness, but the kinds of problems that you deal with through depression aren't at all like the kinds of problems you deal with when you're sad. I've been very, very sad before. It's sadness and depression are two totally different things. It's reductive to call depression sadness. It's not just misery. It's called anhedonia. Sadness makes you sad. Anhedonia means the inability to experience pleasure. Even a person who's like devastatingly sad can usually find some kind of comfort in something. If you, like your dog dies, you can be really fucking sad if your dog dies. But if a person isn't depressed, that sadness can be alleviated through the comfort of somebody near them or through something or other, or maybe they have a comfort show, or maybe there's a person they care about, or ice cream, or whatever. But depression is more about emptiness. And if you feel empty, you're kind of stripping people of the ability to believe that life is worth living, you know? Because, I mean, if you're not feeling anything, like, okay, like, all right, what are we doing here? In reality, anhedonia is just another emotional or psychiatric condition that can be overcome with time, but it's not the same as sadness. Does that make sense? Any advice for young adults in high school during COVID? I'm afraid I don't really know what it's like out there with COVID. I work inside, so, you know. Research on gratitude? Oh, yeah, true. I've actually heard this before. Being grateful for your happiness and just for life in general tends to make people way happier, you know? It sounds like some cringy, like, white woman tantric yoga bullshit, and it's not helped by the photo they put up here. But it actually seems to be true that being grateful for things in general seems to make people happier, because we have such a really bad habit of fixating on negatives and not fixating on positives. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of positive stuff that goes on in most people's lives. Usually there's some friend or something, even if it's really baseline stuff, you know? I'm grateful for the fact that I was able to understand this concept that was difficult for me, you know? I'm grateful that maybe some people just be grateful that you can like walk around and use your body normally, you know? Isn't this the glass half full versus the glass half empty? It's not so much about positivity, and it's more about training yourself to pay more attention to the good parts of your life, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? You can be negative while also training yourself to keep an eye out. Sometimes people will have some or a lot of good in their lives, and they don't even really pay it much attention. Some people, to be fair, don't have that much good going on in their life, which is why the ultimate source of contentedness must come from ye heart, or I guess from your brain, you know? Because the easiest way, the best way to make your brain feel good, this is nothing beats this, okay? Nothing even comes close to beating this. This is more than drugs, this is more than alcohol, this is more than sex, romance, friendship. This is number one, okay? It's you set goals and then you complete them. You set goals and then you complete them. It's that simple. Nothing ever beats that. It's something to do with our hunter-gatherer brains. I don't know the biology of it, but that right there is the baseline. Setting a goal, a thing you want, even if it's something trivial, like cleaning a room, or even just cleaning the floor off your room, or, you know, like making your bed. Set a goal and do it. If you're not feeling great, you're probably not going to be able to achieve great goals, so set small goals, and then do those goals. And you'll feel good about those goals, and it will give you a little bit of energy, maybe a little bit, you know? But you have to believe in the goals that you're setting. This is literally just quoting self-help books. Well, I mean, I think if it's good advice, it's good advice. There are people here who are going to delegitimize it because they're like relating this to Jordan Peterson, but this is fairly basic psychiatric advice. It is important to feel a relationship to your own productivity. Vosh, I feel nothing after cleaning my room, even though it takes all my energy. Was that a thing you wanted to do, or was it a thing you had to do? Do you want to do anything? Is there anything you want to do at all? If not, and this is an important lesson to learn as well, sometimes psychiatric help really is sort of the kicker here, you know? There are psychiatric problems that are definitely best addressed with some kind of psychiatric consult or evaluation. That is definitely the case. That's not to say that you can like bootstraps your way out of mental illness. Just helps. Yeah. Depression can cause you not want to do anything. I know. I have struggled with depression. I'm perfectly aware of that, which is why, guys, remember the chart. Very important. You wait for the good days, even the okay days. Small goals and achieve them. Forcing yourself to do shit you don't want to do when you're already feeling down doesn't make you feel better. But sometimes there is a certain pride to be taken in taking advantage of your relative ability to get shit done. Good time to do stuff. Oh yeah, none of what I'm saying is medical advice. It's just my opinion, okay? When are you going to delete the backflip? What backflip? Was there a backflip here? Backflip. My counselor called it executive function days. Yes, executive dysfunction is when you just can't do shit. Executive function is the opposite. Oh yeah, you should always brush your teeth too. Physical decay enables mental decay. You would be amazed how much feeling good and clean can contribute to a general feeling of well-being. Otherwise, you turn into a big lump. There's some quote from a Kurt Vonnegut book. Was it Sirens of Titan? No, which one was it? Was it the Slaughterhouse 5? It might have been Slaughterhouse 5, I think. There was a quote from it, and it was from the perspective of a collection of British POWs that were being kept in a German POW camp. Not a concentration camp, a POW camp. Because they were British and white, they were treated better, of course. It wasn't a death camp. And one of the commanders of the captured British soldiers was very insistent that all of his men who were captured, every single day, they must engage in rudimentary exercise, brush their teeth, make their bed, etc., etc. You know, even though it was all disgusting accommodations, they would have to do that every time. And he said that if and shave every day too, every single day, shaving with a razor and the foam, you know, straight razor. And he said the reason why they had to do that was because if they stopped exercising every day, then they would stop shaving every day. And if they stopped shaving every day, they would stop brushing their teeth every day. And if they stopped brushing their teeth every day, they would stop making the bed every day. And if they stopped making the bed every day, they would stop getting up out of bed. And if they stopped getting up out of bed, they would die there. So you do all of those things, and all of them got to live. Does that make sense? And if they die there, well, then they're dead. You know. So. Wash a small criticism. Death camps never had housing accommodations. They were for killing people. What? It wasn't a death camp. It was a POW camp. I mean, people were kept at death camps. They were worked to death. They had little places to sleep. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm not downplaying the Auschwitz-Birkenau. Yeah. Brush your teeth on stream right now. No, that's I brushed my teethies this morning. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, do we get the point? Do we get it? Are we fine? Do we get it? Okay, we get it. What color is your toothbrush? It's blue. Thank you. I don't want to downplay the importance that psychiatric consults can have, though. That is very important. Okay. I know that not everybody has the money available to get that kind of psychiatric consult, and also many people are going to have bad luck and they don't get a great psychiatrist. But I think it's important to try some of this stuff. You know.